I think the overall thing for me, going back to last week and now this week for sure, is that I think that you have some interesting story ideas that they're just not necessarily executing as well as they could. I think there's something real interesting with Omega and Swerve and all that, but you didn't execute it quite right. There's something potentially interesting with Mina, but I don't know that you're executing it right. Welcome to episode 20, believe it or not, of Elite Heat. And they said it wouldn't last. And by they, I mean literally nobody said that.
I was going to say, who is it? Who said that?
Nobody.
I didn't. Did you say that? Because I didn't say that.
I might have thought it.
Yeah.
I might have thought it.
I mean, knowing me alone, it's like 20? That's like 20 weeks in a row.
That's a lot. That's like
That's
a lot of stuff. And
to
some
be
of those,
fair-
some of those we did two in a week because there was a pay-per-view.
But to be fair, I did miss one.
So did I.
Yeah, well, okay. But here we are, episode 20.
Yeah. Well, I guess only 18 of both of us. Now it just feels cheap. Which, let's be honest, this is not the first time today that I've felt cheap and slightly used. But anyway.
You know what? Not going to be the last before this episode's over.
You know, it's not. In fact, that's kind of a good lead-in to this episode of Dynamite that opened with Omega versus Swerve, which I certainly would have thought would be the main event. I'm confused as to why that opened.
That is 2 weeks in a row now. They have opened with fire. Just fire.
Yeah, and I know that they like to do that, but that really surprised me, especially with as much as they had been hyping that match like online and all that stuff. So I had a couple thoughts on this one.
Oh, I had several, but yes, let's hear it.
I mean, I had several as well, but the quick ones before we get, I think, into the deeper dive here, just right out of the gate, did we need the close-up of Swerve's dong like that?
Need? No. Did we get it? Yeah.
Oh, we got it.
What's the Batman line? It's not the dong you need, it's the dong you deserve.
I guess, yeah. But it was like an uncomfortable amount of time that the camera was right in that man's crotch. And I'm like, okay.
Well, he is the most dangerous man in AEW. And now you know.
I was like, why? I'm like trying to maintain eye contact, and it was not working. But anyway.
With his dong?
No, with him.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, oh my God.
Because I don't know if you know this, he can see me through the TV as well. So, you know,
but just
here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just you.
So anyway, that was how we set the tone for the evening.
Oof.
That pile driver on the barricade, though.
Yep. I like how they recovered, though. And it was kind of nice to see them fall because it shows you just how chaotic and how dangerous it could have been, and it just looked awful.
Yeah. Well, and I think them falling off of it, even though I know that was not planned.
Right.
I think that it lended to the, like, these guys are wearing each other out, you know. I think it played nicely into that. I thought they recovered nicely. But I mean, when they actually hit it.
Yes.
Woof.
That looked so bad.
That was the first thing in the evening, or in that match, I should say, that I went, I don't know how you safely take that. The other one is the vertebreaker. That is one of several moves that I do not know how they safely take that. I don't know how you don't break your neck on that.
When Brody took it, I thought he died. When Kenny took it, it was frightening. It never looks safe. Like you said, it always looks legitimate and painful. And the fact that Kenny was even able to get up from that is amazing.
Yeah, it's like that. Tiger Driver 91. The Poison Rana is one that I always am like, how do you not just land square on the top of your head? Like,
right.
If I really thought about it, I'd probably come up with like 3 or 4 more that I'm just like, I don't know how they take that, but
those are big ones though. That Yeah, but that vertebreaker to me is one of the most dangerous looking moves. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's somehow easy to take, but it doesn't look it. And hats off to them for making it look as freaking deadly as they do.
Yeah, for real. So the main story here, though, of course, is that Kenny Omega won. And this is probably the first time in my life that I have been disappointed that he won.
Yep, I get that.
It is documented over the course of 20 episodes of this show. I love Kenny Omega. Like
Same.
if there are two dudes in AEW that I irrationally love, it's him and Hangman. I own it. I own it that those two guys can do no wrong in my eyes for the most part. So this is nothing against Kenny.
No.
And I get that Dynasty is in Canada. I get that. I don't think that's a good enough justification for, once again, kind of false starting Swerve.
Yes, I think this match would have been better served to take place at Dynasty. I thought they should have extended it. I thought this match would have felt way more important other than a 1 week build-up. And I saw this online and I 100% agree. This match would have felt so much more important if they had taken some time to show that the EVPs have power now, because since the Bucks got theirs taken away by Swerve, we haven't seen what kind of control. Kenny has never really tried to exert control, and they attempted tonight to kind of cover that. But again, you've got 1 week to get all of that story to make it feel that much more important, and you get kind of a one line from Kenny going, yeah, I never really flexed my powers, and then when I did, it was to make the place better.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that's why it was a mistake, and I think that, as you and I talked about last week, and people were fighting with me on this online, this is a pay-per-view level match. Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland is a pay-per-view level match, period. The point of this business is to sell tickets. It is to get people to buy the pay-per-view. That has been the point of this business for as long as I've been alive, and I ain't that young anymore, okay?
As long as they've been selling tickets, that's always been the point.
Right. I mean, so when you have that level of a match, and you've got a card in the Dynasty card that last week had exactly one match on it. It was FTR versus Edge and Christian. I'm just leaning into it at this point.
Might as well.
Why would you not put this on there? And to your point, Doug, and I think you're absolutely right, it's a great opportunity for Kenny to flex the EVP power and make that stipulation matter. Because what he could have done is said to Swerve, fine, you want to do this? Great, but we're doing it in my turf in Canada at Dynasty. That's number one, where I'm flexing my power. You get no say in that. Number two, I'm going to make your life hell for the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to put you in, I'm going to have you and Brody run it back. I'm going to have you run up against, Mark Davis. I don't, you know what I mean? Like throw him at these killer level dudes, right? And by the way, Swerve, to again flex that power. Oh, you're the number one contender, so you think you should get the main event at Dynasty? You don't. I'm putting Andrade in there. I'm putting Darby in there since he called his shot. I don't care, but it's not going to be you. It's going to be you and me at Dynasty, and I'm going to make you wait. I'm going to make you earn the number one contender spot that you didn't even know you had, like there was an opportunity here to do some really good storytelling and to really build the Dynasty. And I think that by having Kenny win, look, I get it. They already laid the groundwork tonight on how they're going to build him and MJF. That's fine. But I just think you could have done a really cool story here with Kenny and Swerve. And I think it's a missed opportunity.
That MJF Kenny story was always going to be there. We didn't need to rush it so quickly. And like you said, even if Kenny doesn't flex like that, you could have Swerve say, because of the EVP, show what not having the powers cost him. There are so many avenues to have taken with this storyline, and they crammed it into a week. You got almost zero story with it. Just, oh, I'm the number one contender? Fine, I want your EVP power. Okay, match, I lose. Now what?
Right. And now what is the question? Because now what do you do with Swerve, who is, with Hangman gone, that elevates his spot, right? That makes him more important within your company. I would argue this guy is, with all due respect to MJF, I would argue that Swerve is the top heel right now.
Oh, I think so. He's that dominant heel we've been begging for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And like at this point, and correct me if you think I'm off base here, I can't help but smell a Swerve trying to take out Kenny.
I think it's
that he can't make that match. And oh, look, I must be me now.
Yeah, I think that can't be it between them. It cannot be, because if it is, then you just made Swerve look bad.
I really thought we were going to see Swerve attack Kenny when he came to the ring before he had a chance to talk to MJF later. I really did. I thought,
did too.
Ooh, Kenny's not going to even make it to the ring.
Yeah, I thought there were going to be multiple, because Kenny appears multiple times tonight, as we'll get into. I thought in any of those appearances, Swerve was going to come out. And look, I know that a big part of the story here, a big part of the narrative is that Kenny's back to 100%. But man, have the heel hit him in the gut with, I don't know, a baseball bat or whatever.
Yep.
I think it's really disappointing to me, and it really makes me sad, because I think they had a great opportunity here to do something really cool, and I think that they fumbled on it. And if they did it solely because they're going to be in Canada and Kenny Omega is from Canada, well then hell, is Jericho going to be on the card all of a sudden? Is it just we're going to cram the Canadians in there?
Well, we've got Cage and Cope, so
right. Which again, but they did that in a way that made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know we talked to,
but to your point, yes, get as many Canadians as you can on there.
Yeah.
But again, you could have Kenny on there and kind of main event, whether it's in the main event or not. Open with that. Do this match as the opening match for Dynasty. Holy balls! Are you kidding me?
That's exactly what I was going to say, because at this point, we all know the opening match is kind of almost the co-main event, right? Like, it's a big deal if you open the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say. Have those two guys open the pay-per-view. It sets the tone for the show. You can then bring the winner back out after the main event. And look, if you had thrown Andrade in there, do I think Andrade is going to beat MJF at Dynasty? No, but I think it's going to be a good match. You're going to get my money between that and giving me Omega and Swerve and Cope and Christian versus FTR. Like, those three are enough right away for me to give you money, plus whatever else you put into it, right?
Uh-huh.
I just think that they fumbled the opportunity here. It's disappointing to me. And at a time where you have a bunch of storylines going that are confusing, that feel like missed opportunities, that feel like mistakes, even though I know that they have a plan with the Hangman thing. I know that they do.
I hope so.
They do. I mean, I've read multiple reports that they know what they're doing. They have a plan for it. They have no intention of sticking to the dumbass stipulation. Like, they have a way out of it. Apparently, at least according to Uncle Dave, right?
Thanks, Uncle Dave.
I mean, say what you want about Meltzer. He's usually fairly right about this stuff.
Oh, that's what I mean. Thank you. Because I was very, very, very worried, and I hadn't seen that yet. So
his batting average is pretty good on this stuff, even though I know he's polarizing. But anyway, it just, like I said, at a time where you have all these kind of, I've said this word a lot, these murky storylines going on, this felt like at least a cool story to get us to Dynasty.
Yeah.
And now we don't have that.
No.
And that sucks.
I don't want to spoil the rest of the show, but we don't see Swerve for the rest of the show, which is really against character. So
that shocked me.
I hope if we don't see him on Collision this weekend, I really hope we see him on Dynamite next week. And he better be wrecking house. Just, I don't know. Like you said, I wanted Kenny to win. Kenny has been my guy for ages and ages and ages. Story-wise, it made so much sense to have boy, it's interesting if he would have won, because what would he have done?
Yes. That's it.
You build on that fear of what is he going to do? You get him having all the faces questioning, what is he going to do? And then if you build to Dynasty, you have 3 more weeks. Is that right? 4 weeks to Dynasty?
I think 3-ish.
not only will the faces be like, oh my God, what is he going to do? But now you get the heels even going, holy crap, what is Swerve going to do?
Right. I mean, that's exactly,
He doesn't play with anybody. Like, he
right.
doesn't play well with anybody.
Right. But you could have Don Callis like trying to suck up to him and trying to make deals,
Yep.
Like what you said there is 1,000% correct. Boy, would it have been interesting of what is he going to do with that power? And now we don't get to see that. And that is a bummer, man. That sucks.
Yep. We don't even get to see that drama. Like, he doesn't have to win. Just the fear of him winning. You could have milked that past Dynasty.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. It could have been really interesting. And now you've got a pay-per-view coming in about 19 days, give or take, because I think we're 20 days away from April 15th, and it's, I believe, the 14th. So if I have that right. So that's not a lot of time.
No.
And now you've got to either figure out what you're going to do with Swerve, or he's not going to be on the pay-per-view, which again would feel like a mistake to me. I just don't get it. I'm confused by this. I don't get it. And it's a bummer of a storyline ending to what was otherwise a really good match.
Yeah. It was a great match. I love that match.
It was great.
I wrote down, wow, just wow. These two could wrestle all damn night, and I would be happy because
I thought they'd go the hour. I really did.
I was surprised it ended when it did. I thought they made a point of saying 60 minutes. I was like, all right, if anyone's going to go 60, these guys are.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I do know Omega and MJF. I know that. And that's going to be good. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be good. But, man, it just feels like a missed opportunity.
But again, that story was going to be there regardless. Like, that wasn't going anywhere. MJF isn't going to lose anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think he loses between now and All In. I just don't.
No. And he's not going to lose to, no offense, he's not going to lose to Darby.
No,
that's not happening.
No.
He's not going to lose to Brody. And that's okay. But they're going to be entertaining matches, and it gives him something to do with all these guys coming out of the woodwork. That Kenny Omega storyline wasn't going anywhere. It was going to be there. Let us have this. And we missed it. And now what are you going to do? You're going to go back to it again? Are you going to give us that same stip again? No, you're not.
Right. It's too late. It's over. It's done. Yeah.
And you rushed it.
Yep. I agree. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It all would have been there post Dynasty. It would have been sitting right there. And then you could have had Omega and MJF headline Double or Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think matters more than Dynasty and matters more than getting the Canadians on Dynasty. But again, we showed you how you could have done it.
Easily.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yep.
Well, rather than continue to beat that dead horse, let's just beat up Darby Allin, because after that we got the video of him just repeatedly getting destroyed.
It's fine. I mean, you got to see what Darby does, and that's what he does. He beats himself up and lets others do it for him. So there you go.
Yeah. Then Ospreay called out Pac. I liked this.
So good.
I liked the intensity here. I guess I should say Pac and Moxley.
Yes, he did.
His intensity was great. I like this version of Ospreay a lot.
I do too. I am a little surprised. Wait, are he and Mox are going to go at it at Dynasty, but he and Pac are going at it next week.
Correct.
Right? Okay,
Yes. It was confusing because I think he said meet me in Vancouver or meet me in British Columbia, whatever it was, because I think they're going to be in Alberta. Right. But I got confused because I thought, wait, they're doing that at Dynasty? And then he said the Mox thing, and I went, oh, okay.
Right. But, dude, the intensity of he's always been intense in the ring, but kind of on the mic, he's always been a little bit kind of fun and like, hey, all right, bruv, let's go. But this time, and it was believable. You know what I mean? It was he's talking from a point of reality where he was almost on the shelf. They didn't know if he was coming back because it took a while. He had his damn neck fused. So there was a lot of emotion.
Touchy.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion going on in there, and I'm sure a lot of it was based in reality. So it was really cool to see him that intense and to call those two out. And I gotta say though, later the reply was very interesting and kind of fun.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, well, we're almost there. So after that, we got the Death Riders versus Skyflight, which here's what I wrote down. It's probably better than it should have been because on paper, I'm like, well, this is a squash. And I
Yes.
get that you're putting Top Flight on there because they're from Minneapolis and that's where you were tonight. Yes, I know St. Paul's a different city. You see my point. They're connected. I thought my main takeaway from this was I thought really good spotlight for Zeta Steel at a time where you need to start building women. You need to get some new credible threats for Tecla going. I thought this was a good spot for her. She looked really good.
I think that's kind of why this whole match was put together, is
I
to
think so too.
spotlight her and her abilities, and she looked good. And I wrote again, I think Marina Shafir continues to improve. I think she looks better and better in the ring with every match. She didn't look quite as strong as her last match, but I thought she looked way better, and I think those two made each other look really good. And yeah, Zeta Steel, she could be something in that women's division, and it's nice to see a new face in there doing good things. So yeah, I was very happy with that match.
Now they can't rush it. That was her first appearance on Dynamite wrestling anyway, according to Tony Schiavone. So don't push it. Don't push it too fast. Keep building her, but you got a little something brewing there, and that's not a bad thing. So then we got the Mox promo that you alluded to. I'm curious now what you were thinking watching that. I think we have a different reaction.
That was a different promo for Mox. It was a different attitude for him, and I kind of liked it because it wasn't as weird and dark and we're the Death Riders and we do what we want. It was just like, well, this isn't even personal, but if you want it to be personal, don't write a check that your ass can't cash, basically. And he was just kind of, we'll see you, buddy. And it just the weird, that was a better weird for me from Mox. I liked that kind of, we'll see what we'll see. Maybe you'll get jumped in the back. Who knows kind of vibe. And the weird playfulness of it, and yet still threatening. I liked that part of it. It to me, it was a step up from the, let me say things that sound intimidating in my head, but have no context and no meaning. And we are together. Things tough, shadows dark, blah.
Okay, so I fully agree with you on that. As Mox promos go over the last, let's say, 18 months, give or take.
Yes.
Well, I mean, because that's roughly what it's been, because I'm trying to remember when that Dynamite was in Champaign, because that's the start of the Death Riders. It was right after All In. It was between All In and All Out when Bryan Danielson had won the title. That's the start of the Death Riders. I was there for it, and I'm trying to remember when that was, but that's a year and a half-ish, give or take, right?
I think so, yeah.
So as his promos have gone over that course of time, I agree with you. This was a better promo. Where I didn't love it, first of all, let me put this up front. I think that I miss a version of Jon Moxley that maybe will come back someday, but probably not anytime soon. I kind of miss the guy he was when he first came to AEW, which was still had a little bit of that Ambrose character to him, but he had more, I think it was more grounded in reality, and he was more believable than he was as Dean Ambrose, but he still had kind of some of that in him. And it was just a more, to me, entertaining version of the character. Now, I like what he's been doing here recently, and I don't want to crap on this one too much, but one thing that I think professional wrestlers are forgetting, the point of the promo is to get me to want to pay for the match, right? The point of the promo is to sell the match. And I know that this is the beginning of the promo battle between him and Ospreay. Ospreay sold the match. Ospreay got me going like, yep, I want to see that. Moxley had me going like, are you okay? Like, we're doing the match, but if you were just going off the Mox promo, I'd be like, okay, I guess.
I get
it would be it would
totally
be a match that I would be like, it's on a card that I'm already buying the pay-per-view for. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's the fourth match on a card where I'm like, okay, but I'm here for the main event or whatever it is. So, and I think AEW is suffering from that a little bit. I think WWE is really suffering from that right now, like calling each other old. Ooh, like come on.
Right.
Old is the best you can do. Come on.
Yeah.
You guys have writers. Come on. But so that's where it disappointed me a little bit. However, I'm on board for the match because I think, like I said, Ospreay really sold it, and I'm on board for it.
Yeah, like I said, I 100% agree. I get where he's not. It wasn't quite selling that match the way you were hoping, but I liked the change in attitude of it. So for me, that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. My other nitpick on it was, is he a face or a heel? Because I don't know anymore.
I almost wrote down, well, they're certainly tweening it up again, but then I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't matter because Marina Shafir is always going to flip off the crowd. Garcia is always going to be the one with energy and attitude, and Mox is going to do whatever the hell he's going to do.
Yeah. Everybody hates Yuta. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Good Lord.
Yeah. So then we got the Bucks video. I wrote down here, I really like the intensity and focus that we are seeing from them. I think this is a cool version of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no notes. That's kind of basically my feeling on it too. I like seeing them hunker down. I like seeing them be serious, and yet, they've looked so good in the ring recently. It's nice to see this attitude for them outside the ring and kind of be a more believable serious as opposed to, oh, now we're going to stop screwing around. No, you guys feel legitimately serious about what's happening, and I think that's really good for them.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun. And it's a version of them that I don't think we've really seen in AEW.
No, not recently anyway.
Yeah, so I think that's cool. Yeah, I'm not sure we ever have. So I think that's cool. I think that's a good twist for, some day one guys that, helped found the company. You had to find a new version and they found it.
Yep.
Okay, then Speedball and Rocky Romero.
Solid match. It's fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I wrote down Speedball keeps winning, which is good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Speedball missed the knees at the end. I don't think he hit him at all. It looked to me like he just hit the mat and Rocky reacted.
I would have to go watch it again. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't paying super close attention to this one. I don't remember if the dogs were doing something or what it was, or if it was just that it was Speedball and Rocky Romero and I knew how it was going.
Yeah.
I wasn't super locked in on this one, so I would have to go watch it again. But
I did the little 10-second rewind and I was like, oh my God, he whiffed it. But the angle was one where it wasn't super obvious. I don't think he came close. So I was like, what? Okay. But again, it was fine. It didn't go too far. It didn't go too long, which is what it needed to do. Speedball, continues to look decent.
Yeah. And that's really all that matters right now, I guess. Then there was the Revolution recap, which specifically of Texas Death, which okie doke. I guess that made sense since after that we got MJF in the ring doing the promo with Kenny Omega. First thing I wrote down was, are we going to get an ever t-shirt after how many times he said ever of,
so good.
Hangman will never, ever, 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 ever. I mean, it was a lot of evers.
So good.
Otherwise, I thought this was good, but for these two guys, and maybe my bar was set too high, I felt like they could have done a little bit better. To me, and I'm curious what you think about this, to me it felt like Kenny was off with the promos just a little bit tonight. Like he wasn't as sharp on them as he usually is.
I can see why you'd say that. I really enjoyed Kenny's kind of almost down-to-earth, no-nonsense approach to MJF and his buffoonery. Because MJF is so over the top. And Kenny made a point of, I'm not going to sit here and take your shenanigans, basically. I kind of did like it, and I like the fact that he's just talking to MJF. He's kind of calm. And again, maybe it's just because it was different. I kind of found myself liking this version of the Kenny promo because it was so just basic, down, and the "you know it too, you son of a bitch" it was maybe my saying of the night, maybe my phrase of the night, because it was so weirdly good. I liked the weirdness of it. And again, I'm an oddball. I get that. I'm not,
Well,
that's why they put like 80 colors in the crayon box. So
so I don't think you're wrong about that. And let me be clear. I don't think this was a bad promo segment. I think that when you have these two guys in the ring together, my bar goes way up, right?
Yeah.
And so I own that may have been more of a me thing than anything else. But to me, it felt like, so Kenny had several good lines in there. I really liked when he was like, the devil, like I thought that was funny.
Yep.
And I thought immediately like, oh, okay, so he's going to go with the God of Pro Wrestling thing. But like where I felt like he wasn't as sharp as he usually is he says the God of Pro Wrestling. And then the very next thing that Kenny Omega said was, well, I've never called myself the God of Pro Wrestling. Brother, you just did. You literally just did.
Yeah. But like he had mentioned, I think it was last week, he's like, I never called myself that. You did. The fans called me that.
Yes.
I never said that. And I think
you're
right. Reference.
You're right. But it was, but here's the thing. Like, I forgot that he said that.
But it is one of those things where like, but you didn't, okay.
You literally just said it, Yeah. So it was just, there were a couple things like that I was like, But I mean, again, the man had a 20-25 minute match where his head, he took that pile driver on the barrier and all that stuff. Like, you got to factor that into it. But overall, look, again, if the point of a promo is to sell the match, I think this is a really good foundation to build that main event off of.
Yeah.
I think I also should recognize and point out, I think a lot of the build to this match is going to be tempered by my disappointment in how they just had the opportunity to do such a cool thing with him and Swerve and didn't. But I'll get over it probably
at some point.
Well, what'll happen is I'll probably forget that I was upset about it. I'm kidding. The only thing that I remember is my wrestling gripes. Nothing else.
That is very true.
I don't know my own birthday, but I know my wrestling gripes.
You've got a wrestling gripes burn book somewhere where you just keep taking copious amounts of notes.
It's not somewhere. It's on my person at all times. And well, except for tonight, it was in Swerve's pants, but otherwise it's on my person at all times.
That's what's
a close up of it. Yeah, it was my burn book.
It did not look like a book.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, so we're going to move on. Then we got the Cajun Cope promo. I love this version of Christian so much. Love it.
So
he's doing the best work of his career in AEW. I love it.
I agree. The fact, and you saw it coming, and it was still great. It was still great.
Yeah, like you see what he's going to say coming a mile away, and it doesn't matter. He does it so well. It just doesn't matter. Otherwise, it was fine. I mean, you're selling the personal nature of it. Like, cool. Yeah, I'm on board. Then FTR came out with a rebuttal. Probably, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, probably, though, not the best idea to have Cash do most of the talking when you got Stoke right there.
I didn't think he was going to talk that long.
I didn't either.
And I think it was a bit of a mistake, but I understand because he was the one that has the more direct personal relationship, and that's who Cope called out. So it makes sense, but it could have been a little shorter, and having Dax finish was better.
But I mean,
overall, it was okay. It was good.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, when you got Stokely right there, who is such a good talker, like that's the point of a manager, right? Is he could have been the one going, this is not 2009. This man does not need your help, like, and what kind of coward, what kind of scumbag holds charity over somebody's head?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It would have come off so much better from Stokely. We didn't get it, but I do understand why they didn't do it that way, but it would have
Yeah,
went
no,
over better with Stokely. You're right.
Yeah, I get it. I get the thought behind it, but like you guys have Stokely with them for a reason. Let the man talk. Like you hired him to talk. Let the man talk. You know.
Let him do his job.
After that, OC and Roddy versus Finley and Connors of the Dogs, who I thought looked real good.
Yeah, I like how they had them come out and then they get into a little scuffle with FTR. I kind of like that. That's kind of the second time they've done something similar. I liked that. It didn't have to be a major thing, but it's something there, and it could potentially, it lays some nice groundwork for if maybe we want to do something with Orange and Roddy with FTR as a film match. That's fine. And you got a little groundwork there, but man, I really like this version of the Dog so much better with Finley and Clark Connors than I did with Kid and Clark Connors. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's that they work better together, or if I just like Finley that much more. But man, I thought these two look amazing together, and it was a great match. Plus, I don't know if it was supposed to happen, but on their walk-in, someone goes to come out from the side and Finley just shoves him back into the room. I don't know if that was planned or if he genuinely was like, what the hell are you doing? And just shoves him. I thought that was super hilarious. It happened backstage. I thought it was awesome. Whether it was planned or not, it just made me laugh.
I think it was an oopsie and he was shoving somebody out of the camera line there. But no, I agree. I agree with every single thing you said there. You nailed it. Like the stuff on the ramp was good. More of that. I think it's a really clever way to lay some of that groundwork. I had the same thought of Finley and Connors are the tag team here. They are it's those two guys. Like they looked great. I thought OC and Roddy were really good. So I agree with you on all that. I have nothing to add. You nailed it.
Yeah, that was a great match. I really liked it. On any other night, that might have been a match of the night for me. But
I agree. Divine Dominion promo followed. It was fine. The thing that I thought was kind of interesting was I have to learn her name, the one that's not Megan Bain.
Colossal something Cross.
Yeah, other tall lady. She, I thought, was better than Megan Bain in this. And that kind of surprised me because she's new. Like she's pretty green, and that kind of surprised me in a good way. It was fine. It was fine. At the time, it didn't make sense, but then when they announced that they're going to do the rematch with Babes of Wrath on Collision, I went, okay, well, now that makes more sense. But
that was, they should have probably mentioned that before they had them talk about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And I think part of it is, I think Megan Bain's voice just isn't, she speaks in kind of she doesn't speak very emotionally. And there's not a lot of inflection there. That's what I notice is that when Megan Bain talks, it's very subdued and there's not a lot of variance in her voice. And it's just kind of the same thing over and over. And the other one had a little more, whatever her name is, Cross something. But yeah, I thought she did Tall Cross. She did really good. I like these two together. I think they kept it short. I thought it was fine. I just wrote down Divine Dominion promo.
Yeah, I literally wrote fine and then moved on. Fletcher promo came after that, and first thing I wrote down was, another world title challenger.
I'm okay with that, though. I was going
to say, which we should probably talk about. At first I was like, man, you're just packing so many people into this, except for apparently Swerve, which still doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
But the more I thought about it, the more I went, it's not a bad strategy to go look how many people we have that are credible challengers for the world championships. Probably not the worst strategy.
What I really liked about it, though, is how he pitched it, that he's not real thrilled that Don is taking money from MJF and working with him. He's like, Don, it should be back in the family, and I'm the guy to do it. At least for me, this argument makes sense. You've got the TNT champ saying, I'm the guy. I haven't, and he laid the case out. I haven't lost yet in 2026. Our world champion has. Kenny Omega has. I think I should be the guy with the title. That to me makes all the sense in the world, because when you do things like that, you don't have to have that match tomorrow. You can have that match in 3 months. It's okay. He's already stated his case. He'll bring it up every now and then, as long as you don't do it all the time. I think that's fine. Like I said, lay those seeds now, and you always have someone looking for that title, because I think they got into a bit of a pickle at one point where it was like, well, we've got one person ready to take the champ on, and if they lose, we don't know what we're doing next.
I would argue that's where they're at with the women right now.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have I don't think they have one clear challenger right now, let alone multiple.
I don't know. I want to kind of get into the Toni Storm thing, but I don't, because I don't think there's any solid info on what's going on. I have a feel like everyone's saying that she's not actually hurt because she was at an event this weekend. I think the whole thing of, the rumor is she's going to be out for the rest of the year. I think that's potentially a work, in a pretty big one. But I hope for their sake, if she is out for the rest of the year, Mercedes Moné comes back. And it sounds like she's going to be back sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Man, they need someone that has the kind of power that Toni Storm has.
Yeah. So to put a bow on the Fletcher thing, as we then will transition to the ladies, since Mina and Tecla. No, you're fine. Since Mina and Tecla were next. And I agree with you on all that. I'm very curious to see if Fletcher remains undefeated in the run to All In. And if he comes out of All In undefeated, particularly with Ospreay, because that I think those two are destined to fight for the world title at some point.
Hope so.
Yeah. So I think this might be the beginning of building towards that. So
how mad were you? How mad were you that they drug out the Proto Sheeta thing now, and Takeshita was there, and they're still dragging this weird.
I'm over it. We've talked about it. Yeah, we've talked. I mean, I wrote down that he and Takeshita are adorable, because they are.
They're
but
cute.
But I'm over it. We've talked about this. Like, you've taken way too long on this, and I'm over it. I don't care anymore. I don't
see the point either.
I don't either. Like, Okada and Takeshita could have been such a money match, and I don't care anymore. And you're going to probably try to heat it back up, I'm going to guess, around All In, and it's too late. I don't care.
It's the weird dichotomy of AEW where you took way too long for this and you never paid it off, and yet you rushed Kenny and Swerve.
Yeah.
For what I could see is no real reason. I hope there's a reason behind the curtain, but it certainly doesn't appear that way tonight. But
yeah, no, I agree. So then going back to what you were talking about with Toni. So look, this would certainly not be any of our news to share. And who knows if this is true or not. But we're talking about wrestling. If there's one thing that wrestling is all about, it's speculating wildly.
Oh, yeah.
So again, going back to Uncle Dave, he's the one that was like, she's going to be out for probably the rest of the year. She's going to be out for a long time. And he kind of danced around it. And then you got those pictures from the con where she seems fine. There's another option on the table that would have a woman out for a long time.
Yep.
Is she pregnant?
Juice is going to be a daddy?
I was going to say, is there about to be a little juice on the loose? You know what? I hear it. I didn't mean it that way, but I hear it.
Sounds like there already was.
Yeah.
Just saying. Sounds like
I didn't mean it that way, but I hear it after I said it. I hear it.
You don't not mean it.
I don't. Yeah, I guess. But so that, and the way that, according to Meltzer, the way this came together was the morning of Dynamite last week. The plan was still that Toni was going to wrestle that night. Everything was fine. And then something changed very quickly, and that's why they had to go at that angle. And there were a lot of people that were like, we don't know what's going on. That wasn't the plan. We don't know what's going on.
Right.
It makes you wonder.
I actually did think about that as well.
Yeah.
But
it makes you wonder.
I mean, if so, congrats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like love, but
yeah,
it kind of, storyline wise, terrible timing. So what were you thinking, you two? and your love for each other. Come on. Getting in the way of wrestling.
Yeah, I know. Come on, man. You know what it is? Tony can't say no to those trunks Juice has been rocking. They do it for her, you know? I
would
don't know.
think those things would be so hot. His little guys wouldn't be swimming because they look like they're made out of corduroy.
Maybe that's what they needed.
Is.
That's maybe the heat is good for them. It gets them all. I don't know. Look, again, this isn't confirmed. Who knows? And it's none of our business. Their personal life is none of our business. But if it does come out that that's what it is, nothing but love. Congratulations, you two.
Absolutely.
All the best.
Absolutely.
To your point of Mercedes better come back relatively quick, then we're headed that way. She's dropping belts all over the place. We're headed that way.
Yep.
We're headed for it.
I'm fine with that. And she needs to come back, and she needs to come back as a face. Period.
I think no matter what, that's the pop is going to be a face pop, so you might as well just lean into it. You know, I mean, your best case at that point is just lean into she's going to get the face reaction no matter what she does, kind of like what they always had to do with Austin. You know.
Yeah. Yep. But did we even talk about Mina and Tecla?
No, that's where I was headed, was Mina and Tecla. So what'd you think about this one?
Again, I'm torn. They're making Mina look really, really good in the last couple of weeks, which is fine.
Yep.
I don't think they're making Tecla look as strong as she could.
Yep.
I don't understand. Like, I love the gimmick now that she's pulling the belt out. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But having to use the Nux to win, okay. I'm a little confused on her presentation right now. I think she should be presented as stronger without the Nux. It's a weird like MJF cheat to win, but kind of tough. I don't know. I'm just not buying her as the women's champ like I should be. But I thought this was, I didn't think she looked bad. It's just, I'm a little confused over her presentation and her character and what am I supposed to feel about her other than not like her?
Yeah, I agree. I think they got to do some character work there. And I don't think it's necessarily her fault.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think they need to figure some things out there. I agree with you. I think clearly what they're doing now is trying to heat Mina up, because I think she's stepping into the role that Toni Storm was going to have prior to whatever this is. And by the way, let me say this. I didn't even catch the flowers last week, and then the picture tonight with the flowers next to her and Mina with the flowers. I forgot about the admirer angle because they did that on a collision and then kind of didn't go back to it. So I'll give them this. They're laying the groundwork for something here.
Yeah,
so
at least
I don't either, but at least they've got a plan for when Tony's ready to come back. So yeah, okay. All right, interesting. I think heating up Mina is probably the best option that you have right now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Of anyone to step into that role, Mina is the one to do it. And again, they've been making her look great. She's clearly embraced this role and she's been performing well. Kind of dropped some of the, the antics a little bit to be a little more serious.
Yep.
Like I said, I like this match fine. I'm just confused about Tecla. I want to like her more as a heel.
Yep.
I'm just not buying her 100%, and I should be at this point. I'm just not.
No, I agree with you completely on that. I think, again, you've got a problem here of I don't think they built Tecla well enough before she took on Statlander. I don't think the stuff with Statlander helped build her enough to where you could then put the strap on her and it's just, the rocket to the moon. I think the other problem, I think you got a couple of problems here. Like we talked about, they didn't have somebody ready to take on Tecla when the stuff with her and Statlander was over. I guess it was going to be Toni Storm. Now she can't go, so they had to pivot quick. I think as far as pivots go, this is not a bad one.
No. Like I said, I think Mina's doing a great job of stepping up and looking legitimate. It's the Tecla thing I have the biggest disappointment in.
I think the other problem that they had here is, did you need to do Mina and Tecla tonight? Because
no,
in theory, you're going to put the women's world champion on the pay-per-view. So could you have started building that between the two of them tonight? So again, I feel like you rushed it, kind of like you did with Swerve and Omega. Like, if you're gonna do these insanely long pay-per-views, you got to make it worth my while.
Yeah.
And some of these matches would have made the pay-per-view more worth my while than I think it's shaping up to be right now.
Unless you're going to do a last minute night of or day before Mercedes is coming back to challenge for the belt, okay, then I'll give you that pass. But could have
My thought is, my thought is she's not showing up until Dynasty. I think she shows up post-match at Dynasty, and they're going to build to Double or Nothing, is my guess.
Okay,
but
that works.
We'll see.
But again, Tecla has to have someone to wrestle.
Yep.
So we're going to run Mina back because...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is how do you... that's what I'm saying is how do you build that? It's going to be her and Mina, I think. So how do you build that program now with Mina?
Who else do you have?
Yeah, because Mina took the loss, and okay, so you're going to say, all right, well, she cheated to win. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a flimsy build. I mean, it just is. And that's why I'm like, I don't think you needed to do this particular match tonight. You could have built that the way you more traditionally would. And anyway, I digress. Okay, so then we got the backstage with Kenny Omega and Renee. This felt to me like a spot that probably should have been Swerve.
Meaning she should have been talking to Swerve instead of Kenny?
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was weird to hear from Kenny twice and then not hear from Swerve at all after that.
I agree.
So to me, that's what that should have been.
I thought it was even weirder for Speedball to come in and then throw his hat in the ring to take on Kenny after he wins the title, supposedly. I thought that was super weird.
Yep.
But I did love Kenny calling out the fact that handshake went on too long. That was hilarious.
That was good. Yeah, that was very good. Again, look, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that Kenny Omega was bad tonight. It just, I think he was in some weird spots, and I just think that could have been an interview with Swerve, and it would have done more for moving you forward. Like, do we really need the interview with Omega after he's done the promo segment with MJF? You know what I mean?
Nope. We didn't.
No.
We could have taken that. We could have put someone else in that match instead of Mina and Tecla. We could have had a different match. We could have highlighted any of the Don Callis family. We could have highlighted...
Yeah, I mean, Andrade was barely there tonight. Like, I noticed that. And where is Brody King? Where is Brody? That was a guy.
Hangman? I don't know.
I guess that was a guy that I was surprised was not there tonight. So
yeah,
I don't know. And by the way, here's two words you haven't heard in forever: the Ops. Remember them?
I do, and they have been really off the radar. They made a big deal about them on the talent search, and they mentioned it a little bit, but you haven't seen. Well, you've got Anthony Bowens trying to get in with the Ops, which again, that's a weird call. That's odd. I don't love that at all.
So I think you had options here, and it's nothing against Kenny or Speedball or Renee. I just think that you could have done something different with that segment that would have been a better move to, keep things moving forward rather than going, hey, remember Kenny Omega won tonight. Like, yeah, we got it. Thank you.
You could have thrown the Rascals at us. You could have thrown Jordan Oliver and Alec. I can't think of his last name. The two new guys that they hired from GCW that we saw one time and then nothing.
Yep.
Could have thrown them at us. Alec Price. Sorry, Alec. Anything. You have so many people on that roster. The Demand just did we have the Demand promo up next.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Love that.
Yeah. So here's what I wrote down about that. Ricochet sounded like he was sick to me, and maybe he should always be, because that was really good.
Yeah, I liked it.
That might have been his best one.
This version of Ricochet, I like. I like so much. So hell, you could have had the Demand just come out and just squash someone.
Yeah.
Beat the hell out of people, and then do that promo in the ring.
Yep. Yeah. It just felt odd to me to have Omega show back up when we've already done him and MJ. It just felt odd. And like I said, if you had put Swerve there and Renee had asked him, okay, so what's next? I'm far more interested in that than than Speedball coming out and saying, hey, I get the first shot after you win.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And by the way, we already saw your partner, Kevin Michael Knight, do that, and it didn't work out for him.
No, it did not.
So then we got the main event of Roosh and Darby, which I thought was an odd main event. I will give Tony Schiavone that he did a good job of selling it. Look, we think these guys are going to tear everything apart, so that's why we put them last. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I can get on board with that.
I wrote down, my first question was, why are they fighting?
Don't know.
I will give it to Tony, because partway through, he mentioned MJF paid Don Callis to take Darby out. Roosh, is he part of the Don Callis family? No, he's part of LMFAO.
He's the leader of LFI. Yeah.
What did I say? Same thing, right?
I don't know. I don't know what you said there. I was listening to myself, because let's be honest, I sound amazing.
LMFAO is what I called him. But,
yes. That's the Japanese version of it.
Sorry. Yes, you were so right. So yeah, I don't understand why they're fighting at all. It made I'm like, okay, especially in the main event. I mean, I get it that you think they're going to tear the hell out of things, but
it didn't make sense. To me, it does not make sense that that's the main event with no stakes attached to it or anything when you have Swerve and Omega on the show.
Thank you.
It just didn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. It was fine. I figured Darby was going to win it because there's kind of a push going there. Again, I like having Roosh on TV. More of that, please.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty good. I just didn't understand why it was the main event. And you know what? Going back to Tony Schiavone, though, I thought he was really good tonight. So kudos to you, man. Like, I thought he did a really good job tonight.
He did a lot of heavy lifting tonight.
He did.
He really, really did.
Yeah.
I wrote down, I'm cool with using Darby to push Roosh, but I'm afraid they're feeding Roosh to Darby, which is kind of exactly what happened. And I get it. You're going to have Darby win. But I also wrote down, of all the people chasing the belt, Darby, for me, has the weakest argument from even from an emotional standpoint, and from I don't know why this was the main event. Well, we saw why it was the main event at the end, and that was the best part for me, is the post match.
Yeah, the Don Callis stuff.
Mark Davis looked like he damn near. Well, for what, I think Roosh tried to kill him twice. I think Roosh tried to kill Darby twice. Just that guy, you're not wrong. He's not going to, by the time that guy's 35, he won't have legs. He's not going to be walking.
I mean, look, by the time he's in his 40s, if he can stand, I'll be stunned. And I don't mean like, well, he'll be paralyzed or whatever. Like, no. I just mean like, he's going to be so beat up and be in so much pain that if he can stand by himself for more than 20 minutes, I'll be stunned. Like, he's going to be the guy that you see at the cons that's like shuffling over to the table and, like, don't ask him to stand up for the picture, like, dude,
DDP is going to have to help him out.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. DDP is going to have to fix him. You're absolutely right about that.
Yep. But yeah, it was, you know what? It was fine. Darby threw himself around. Roosh looked really good. I like that. Don Callis family comes out. Mark Davis wrecked Darby. And you had that weird, I don't understand. Like, I get that Andrade doesn't want Don dealing with MJF, but what does that have to do with beating up Darby other than MJF asked him to? Like, I get they're trying to push that. It just seemed a bit weird and flimsy to, I don't know. It was just weird.
So let's go back again. You talk about something that could have been a segment in place of another Omega promo. you could have had Andrade, chirping at Don of like, why are you doing this? Why are we doing
Yeah.
this? Agreeing with Fletcher. We should be going after the title. Why are we working with him? It felt to me like we're going to shove Andrade out there when the beatdown happens, A, to get him on TV, and then B, to remind you he doesn't love this. Because clearly there's a storyline building there that I think is going to end up with Andrade splitting off from the Don Callis family, which is fine. I'm totally on board with that. But again, I feel like the theme of the night is there was probably a better way. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it felt to me.
If you're since we're going back, since Kyle Fletcher brought it up, saying he wasn't thrilled with it, it would have been very easy to have Andrade then come in after the weird Takeshita hug to be in the background and just kind of be like, Kyle, let's have a talk, because, okay, now he said it. Andrade clearly doesn't want him messing with MJF. Okay. I'd be fine if Andrade, Kyle, and Takeshita break off and have their own thing, or just break away, whatever.
Yeah.
But at least there's some common ground there. You could have done something with that.
I agree. And I think even if you had left everything exactly how it was up to this point, I think it would have been very interesting if Andrade and Fletcher had both come out and been the ones that called the dogs off. And I don't mean the faction, the dogs,
Right.
I think it would have been very interesting if the two of them had come out and waved those guys to the back and like just kind of glared at Don or done like what are we doing at Don? Like that could have been real interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Instead, you got kind of this quasi argument between those two, and you don't hear any of it, so you have a lot of fill in the blanks from the announce team, which they need to do. We didn't get to hear what they were actually saying,
right?
So it just lacked that pop that it could have had.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
I think the overall thing for me, going back to last week and now this week for sure, is that I think that you have some interesting story ideas that they're just not necessarily executing as well as they could.
Yeah.
I think there's something real interesting with Omega and Swerve and all that, but you didn't execute it quite right. There's something potentially interesting with Mina, but I don't know that you're executing it right. All like, and on one hand, I want to say I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because more often than not, I enjoy what they do. It's pretty rare that I watch something and go, ooh, boy, that just nothing about that hit. I mean, it's happened.
Yeah.
But, it's usually because some got derailed by an injury or something that they couldn't control, right? But, I mean, they've definitely made some mistakes. Everybody does. I don't know, man. Like, I'm sitting here a couple weeks in a row going, I think you've got some interesting ideas. I want to go with you on these ideas. But the way you're executing them at best confuses me. Yeah. At worst, disappoints me. I mean,
I'm more than willing to cut a lot of slack for the Mina Shirakawa thing, because that clearly was a last minute thing. I think Mina has clearly stepped up and is doing a really fine job of trying to fill that role. Again, my only disappointment in that storyline is the presentation of Tecla, which I've always kind of had a weird unease about. I'm not sure if they have still found where they want to take her. I think she should be, I think we've talked about it before, I think she should be that dominant female champ that is just wrecking house. Even if she has to do it in the cheating way, I'm okay with that. But it's like they get their toes on the line of that and then go, I don't know, let's make Mina look really good in this.
Yeah, well, and I think
fine, but
yeah, I think again it's a character question, because on one hand you have presented her as like this kind of badass, right, with the entrance and everything, and then she's got to cheat to win. It doesn't necessarily go together, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I we'll see. Well, again, they've got, I think, 18 days after tonight, roughly, to
like that, yeah.
build Dynasty. And then, I mean, I would think Double or Nothing is one of the big four, in my opinion. You know, it should matter. What's the 12th? Well, they might have even less time than I'm giving them then.
They do. They have 2 Dynamites.
Yeah, they have 2 Dynamites between now and Dynasty.
That's it. 2 Dynamites.
Woof. Well, maybe that's why. But okay, so maybe that's why they're rushing some things. But I think they're rushing the wrong things. Like,
Agreed.
I don't.
Agreed. You had 3 weeks that you could have built this Mina match with Tecla. You had 3 weeks to really put some drama in the Kenny and Swerve thing. And again, so many paths to take, and it wouldn't have taken much. You had 3 Dynamites to really build on that to make it work, and we didn't. And I'm sad we're not going to be able to see that, because again, you can't put that Swerve genie back in the bottle of, well, there's no other EVP to take out now. It's not like he can change focus and go, fine, I didn't get Kenny, I'm going to take on well, you already cost them their EVP ship. They don't have it anymore, storyline wise. So now what are we going to do? So it's
I got it. You ready? I got it.
Yes.
This is going to be your Dynasty main event. You ready?
No, but go ahead.
Lights out cage match. Swerve versus Tony Khan for all the power.
Go on. Please, God, no.
No, that's not what it's going to be.
No, of course not. But
of course
still.
not. But is it bad? There's a small part of me that wants that now.
No, not at all. I get it. Okay. I 100% get that. Because at least that would make sense.
Yeah, it would. So I don't know. And it also raises the question again of how are you going to get out of the dumbass stipulation? Because I really thought Swerve having the power was how they were going to do it. I really thought that was the path, but
could have made sense. The only thing I can think of is that they're going to use the fact that, I think it goes back to semantics, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And since Hangman didn't, but it could go back to the Texas death rules. I was going to say maybe because Hangman didn't actually give up, he just passed out. But I think that's part of the stipulation of Texas death.
Yeah, it's the only way you win is the other guy doesn't answer the 10 count.
Yeah, so
it doesn't really matter how.
Yeah, I don't know now.
Yeah, so the only thing I can think of as presently constructed is if Omega wins. He might. I doubt it, but he might. If Omega wins, then it's you know what? I'm going to do a solid for my old buddy, the Hanger.
Yeah.
But then again, then you have to switch the belt.
Yes, you do.
The other path on it is if Ospreay gets a hold of the belt, does Ospreay say, I don't care that you said you're never going to challenge for it again. You and I have history. I respect you. I want to fight you for this. Let's do it. I don't know. It might be that. I don't know. Like I said,
hope they have something. That's all. I just hope they have something.
Like I said, be prepared for it to be deeply unsatisfying, though.
Already am.
Yeah. Please, God, whatever it is, have it be sponsored by Snickers. Please.
Thank you.
That would satisfy me. All right.
Thank you.
And on that note, I think we somehow managed to stretch this into borderline pay-per-view review length. So everybody's welcome for that.
Right now.
Yep, everybody's welcome for that.
Hour 10, yeah.
Yep, you're all welcome. So on that note, I guess that's what happens when you got a lot of storyline stuff to talk about, good, bad, or otherwise. So on that note, if you dig it, share the show with people, like it, subscribe to it. If you could leave a review.
5-star review goes really well.
Even if you don't want to type out the review, I get that. Just hit the 5 stars. That would be tremendously helpful.
We will mention it.
Yep. And you can wait, if we're going to mention, I should go check and see if people have actually done it. I haven't checked for a while. Should probably go do.
I'm sure. Well, we didn't say we were going to mention it until today, so it's fine.
Oh, well, fantastic. All right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Semantics for the win. Just ask Tony.
You know what?
Right.
You know what? Let's pull the AEW in Russia. Go look right now, and then we'll mention them right now.
Okay. Well, it's too late now. This is
Tecla says, "You suck." Kisses me with brass knuckles. And then whips me with the. By the way, did you see was it last week? The post-match when they did the scrum and she was showing the welts from the belt at the
I
scrum?
did not see that.
Man, hats off to
Brutal.
Tecla because she ate some of those, man.
Yeah.
Those look brutal.
Yeah. Well, good on her. All right. Well, thinking I probably should have hit stop a while ago.
Yeah, same.
Probably about 18, 19 episodes ago.
Oh.